process of the decision making on this financial matter. Mr. Fukahori referred to several meetings of liaison officers here in Delhi. But we understand that we received a report from our embassy that very few member states expressed their opinion. And again, we are very concerned about the very low level of attention to this financial matter of the member states. So at this moment, we are not, our position is that we can't accept this proposal. And we have questioned to Secretariat, what is your plan or strategy to recover arrears? And also, do you have any plan or do you have any conclusion in the EPG discussion on the idea that governments, member states, or even international organization depute legal officer or expert to the ALCO, but whose salary is paid by the government or international organization. I think you have discussed in the Secretariat or EPG. What's your conclusion or what's your plan? I'd like to ask this question to Secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan. I'll give the floor to the Secretary General to respond.
Thank you. The two questions that you have raised. In relation to the areas, I think we have made it clear. We have a scheme of arrangement. We have negotiated with countries that are in areas, and I think it's in our scheme. I think you can read in our report that has been done, and we have, in fact, exhaustively. I think I told the gathering here that my colleague Dr. Fukahori had worked very hard in trying to persuade member states who are in default of contribution or in areas to pay. In fact, according to the scheme, and I think that has been done on our part. I need not emphasize on that. On the second point, yes, it is true that we have proposed, we have made the proposal that if it is possible for member states to depute their legal officers to come to the Secretariat. And I think this is up to the member state to take up this proposal, because we do not have it is beyond us. So we kindly request member state if they can send their officers, their legal officers, even if it is in the academics, to come to our Secretariat and help us in managing, in administering, because all the three deputies are actually involved in management of the organization, and at the same time we are also doing our substantive work in the organization. So if a member state can agree on this, we will be most happy to have the presence of your expert, specialists, and to help us. And that would, of course, increase the number of legal officers in our Secretariat. So it's not us that we are waiting. We are waiting response from member state really to send their officers to Delhi. So these are the two responses that I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you very much. As for the arrears, we fully understand that you have made efforts. But my question is, what is your plan? What are you going to do to recover the arrears? And as for the secondment, have you asked, for example, the international organizations as well?
International organization to join us, or
International organization send someone, expert or officer, to ALCO.
Not on a regular basis, because we get assistance from IGO or even the UN Specialized Agency to help us in training. We are doing that now. For example, if we have a WTO training program, then they will send their specialists to assist us, but not on a long stay. You know, they can be with us for not more than 1 week, then they have to leave. But that has been regularly done, and we have established this collaboration with WTO, UNODC, even to the extent of getting help from ICRC and of course local talent. That is the Indian universities, Indian institutes, like the Institute of Trade, World Trade. Yeah? They're helping us. So we have done that. But they cannot put their officers, their specialists on a long-term basis. This is the problem, because they are also required in their organization. So as I said, I would be most happy if we receive, specialists or legal officers from member state to come and work at the secretariat. It doesn't have to be on a 3-year term. It could be a 1 year or on a project basis, on a project basis. So that is possible. Perhaps maybe on my side, we have not come up with a scheme. Maybe we'll take up your suggestion. Maybe we come up with a better, attractive scheme. How we can implement this. If it is not for 2 years, maybe 1 year. Sabbatical. You want to put it that way in the secretariat on a project base. For example, on ILC matters, there are concerns by member states who feel that they want to work on certain topic of ALCO, and that could be just on a project base. That is also possible. So what we need to do, thank you for that suggestion, what we need to do now is to come up with a scheme of arrangement where we can then propose to member state. As to the areas, now once we receive the amount of areas from member state who are paying the areas, we now have the reserve fund. But I do not want to deplete reserve fund. We have now, at least we are safe, we are clear for 3 months. So we put in the reserve fund whatever money that we have collected from the areas. But as I mentioned earlier, that I do not want to have a situation where we are using the reserve fund and we are going to have an acute financial crisis. That is all. The scenario that have presented by Dr. Fakhouri, where 80% of the contribution money has been used for maintenance and salary, that will be a situation where I thought I would not want that to happen. But if that happened, what would be our action? Or member state action on that. It must not just leave the host government, but because this is a responsibility of all member states. So I'm giving you a scenario, and please come up with some suggestion. How do we resolve this issue if that happens? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've also been asked to convey the stand of State of Qatar on budget issues, who have conveyed that they agree with the proposal of Malaysia to delay the issue of implementation of budget till the next session. Are there any other states which want to take the floor on this? I see nobody. Then we have to decide now how to proceed with the adoption of the budget. Just give me a moment. I want to confer with the Secretary General. So listening to the member states, it seems that there is no consensus in this session on the proposal of the Secretariat to increase the budget. So it is proposed that we adopt the budget which was adopted on the lines of 2013, year 2013. So the Secretariat would amend the resolution and accordingly table a new resolution, and the budget plan as was adopted by the member states in 2013, for the year 2013, would be presented as the budget for 2014. If member states are agreeable, we'll take that to be the decision. I see no one objecting, so that's the decision. Thank you. Now we can move on to the more substantive items for deliberation. The first agenda item is environment and sustainable development. At the moment, I have 3 requests for the floor. I'll give the floor first to State of Qatar. You have the floor, sir.
شكرا سيد الرئيس.
You have not said that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I understand that Mr. Fokohari will first introduce the subjects and then the floor would be open for comments from member states. I give the floor to the Deputy Secretary General. You have the floor, sir.
Her Excellency, Madam President, Madam Vice President, Professor Dr. Rahmat Mohamad, Secretary General of ALCO, ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to introduce to the topic environment and sustainable development. For well over the last 40 years, this organization has closely followed the international legal and policy responses concerning this issue. Our contemporary focus is on 3 topics, namely climate change, biological diversity, and sustainable development. Last year, the international community witnessed a number of developments and commitments on all these 3 issues. The Secretariat has prepared this year's brief in the document stated SDS 10, outlining the international legal developments that pertain to them. Excellencies, climate change is one of the most important environmental issues faced by the international community. Last year, we witnessed the 18th session of the Conference of Parties to the UNFCCC, COP18, and the 8th meeting of parties to the Kyoto Protocol, CMP8, which was held at Doha. The international community also met at Bangkok in August 2012, and once again at Bonn in June and April 2013 for negotiations.